Mic test, sound test. Yeah, there it's moving. Baduy Pride will be starting in a few minutes. Since this is a recorded live stream, you might be watching the recorded version. It will take a few minutes before we officially start. Feel free to watch us manually reshare our links.
Yep, self promotion is important in the live stream business, if you can even call it a business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so give us a moment.
Los itchy.
And going over to the tweeters. So the question came up like, oh, should we have done something for the anniversary of Baduy Pride as like this whatever podcast vlog stream
Mm-hmm.
thing? And then it turns out that we missed it entirely. It was back in August.
Yeah.
Um, totally
Hey,
lost track
Mitch.
of that.
And we forgot to like feature our first fan art.
Mm, mm. So yeah, so apparently we've been doing this for more than a year now.
Mhm. It wasn't today, Mitch, but thank you for the greeting nonetheless. Okay. Facebook is running. YouTube is running. Nose is still itchy. Reposting to Twitter. Okay. Seems to be running.
Oh, and other news.
Yeah, I'm so oily.
We officially have the what is the digital version of Concordia is now available on the various digital platforms. At the very least, uh, the
Steam and
iOS
iOS.
store and
Yeah.
then Steam available for both Windows and Mac OS.
So we've already, between the two of us, have purchased it 3 times.
Cause someone like couldn't wait and got it on his iPad immediately.
Well, I do want to play on my iPad, but then my first attempt to play killed my battery.
Maybe you don't need the music or something,
Yeah, maybe.
just to keep things running smoother. But then it takes a lot of getting used to, and this is like we've played uh we've played Concordia via a tabletop
Mhm. We
simulator
also have the
thing.
actual board game.
We have the actual board games. Mitch asking, can you play it with Steam and
See,
iPad?
it's there. There. No, there you covered
That
it.
was
There.
worse. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
there.
I just did it. Yeah.
See the 3 boxes over there? That's Concordia, Concordia Salsa, and then
Venus.
Concordia Venus, and then inside you have the fish market. The fish.
Of all the things that you highlight, this is the fish.
Because the fish
It's not
market
even the
is
map that
awesome.
it comes with.
Okay, face it. We have more fun with the fish market than we do with salsa.
That's true.
In as much as we love salt,
salsa is just like nakaka-stress na what we're gonna do.
And it's annoying. It's like
It's expensive to get the
it's worth nothing in
cities.
the end.
Well, it adds to your other resource, but it can in Mercator it can count as one more type.
Yeah, and then you can like sell. You can turn them all into something and sell it as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Suddenly
but
they're all magically cloth.
but it's
Mitch said maybe need a new iPad.
yeah. But I think Mitch, it's safer on Steam
I
because
mean, just because of the iconography
yeah, it's
is small,
small. That's the frustrating thing about it
you're not gonna be able to show it well.
because it's that small.
Yeah, and then you have to adjust the brightness pa and all that.
Interesting
But
music
I
choice.
nice music. I think it's appropriate, and then like I understand the iconography decisions,
Yeah, but it's really small.
but it's really small.
And then you have those Roman heads with a stick touching the road, but you can barely see the stick. So there.
Yeah, brightness, and it's like also nothing yet. It's just Romans.
So that's the loading screen of sorts. Wow.
Yeah, it's taking a while.
There it is. And Concord. It's still too bright, really?
Yeah,
There. Yeah. And then when you it's gonna kill my battery again.
this is not the focus of today's episode.
You can't see the art glass. It's so tiny. Tiny art glass.
Oh yeah, okay. UI choices.
Yeah. See? Look at that. You can barely like read those icons. And then you see all that info here, which is supposedly representing your opponent's stats. Didn't design it mobile first. That's what I can tell for certain.
Okay. So we'll roll credits, I think, and then we'll get started today's food discussion
Yeah.
for Baduy Pride. So
Okay.
give us a moment. We'll be right back.
Oh yeah! Really right!
This is Toby.
And this is Rocky.
And if it's your first time here, welcome to Baduy Pride, a little space on the internet where we talk about anything we want.
It's completely unscripted and entirely accurate, but at least it's honest. Join us as we talk about everything and anything random live.
And if it's not your first time here, thank you so much for joining us again. Today we are talking about food because every Tuesday we do that.
Because Toby likes to call them Tasty Tuesdays.
And this day's topic is pasta versus noodles.
Yeah, so this was a request from Kenny, and hopefully he'll be able to join today. And I guess it's like asking one of those weird questions, like what's the difference between pasta and noodles and all that. So we'll try to dig into it. I've preloaded a few articles to kind of get us
It's gonna be
started.
your topic.
Why? I'm sure you have stuff too.
Not really, and at most,
I just looked at
As
it
long
like
as they're
right now
yummy.
while we're okay. So, country guide to like jump into it very quickly. The lead in sentence is already the difference between pasta and noodles. I mean noodles and pasta is that noodles are usually made from common wheat, while pasta is mainly made with durum. What does that mean? That doesn't
so
seem like a clear
pasta involves mixing durum semolina with water to form a stiff dough, which is then extruded through a mold or die. Hmm.
Okay, so there is a slight difference. Okay, if you go to Wikipedia, noodles are a type of food made from unleavened dough,
Mhm.
which is rolled flat and cut, stretched, or extruded into long strips or strings. Noodles can be refrigerated for short term storage or dried and stored for future use. They're usually cooked in boiling water, sometimes with cooking oil or salt added. They are also they are often pan fried or deep fried. Noodle dishes can include a sauce, or noodles can be put into a soup. The material composition and geocultural origin is specific To each type of a wide variety of noodles. Noodles are a staple food in many cultures. For example, Chinese noodles, Japanese noodles, Korean noodles, Filipino noodles. We have a Wikipedia page for Filipino noodles.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Vietnamese noodles and Italian pasta, which
Now,
stands out.
yeah, so PBS.org states that the word pasta is usually used to describe traditional Italian noodles, which differentiates itself from others, being made from, well, the same dough, but it consists instead of ground durum wheat and water or eggs.
Durum wheat.
The use of durum wheat or durum, I'm not sure, maybe you're pronouncing it wrong,
Durum. That's like tudum.
sets. Okay, so we'll have a quick segment.
Right.
Netflix was having this event
Over
and,
the weekend, yeah.
and when we saw it, we're like, oh, so Netflix had an event, and then we noticed it was called the Tudum event.
Tudum event.
And for the whole time, we were like wondering, I wonder what that means. And then I just go, maybe it's the sound effect when the logo appears, Tudum. And Rocky gave me this stink face, stink eye. But I was right.
It's so terrible. It's so terrible that they were trying to make this a thing. That they were trying to coin it as a
Tudum.
term. Tudum.
Okay, going back. So, the use of durum wheat sets pasta apart from other forms of noodles. Durum wheat is high gluten content, low moisture, makes it perfectly suited for pasta production. Pressed into sheets, cut into a variety of shapes, cooked before serving.
Oh, while we
So-
do think of pasta as a culturally Italian food, it is
Mhm.
likely the descendant of ancient Asian noodles.
Yes.
A common belief is that they were brought to Italy from China by Marco Polo, but I feel like they attribute everything to Marco Polo because it's the easiest like pathway between China and Europe. So okay, so that's those differences, and then we can kind of look if we kind of go over the okay, first, the etymology of the word is from a German word for noodle. Okay, so thanks, Germany. And then, depending on country of origin, it has different historical variations. So, East Asia, you have wheat noodles in Japan or
Mhm.
udon. They were adapted from a Chinese recipe as early as the 9th century. Innovations continued, such as noodles with buckwheat, which is naengmyeon, which were developed by the Joseon dynasty of Korea. Ramen noodles, based on southern Chinese noodle dishes from Guangzhou, but named after the northern Chinese lamyan, which became common in Japan by the 1900s. Central and West Asia has kezmi or reshte noodles eaten by Turkish peoples in the 13th century. Ash reshte, noodles in thick soup with herbs, is one of the most popular Persian dishes in some Middle Eastern countries. Europe, in 1st century BCE, Horace wrote of fried sheets of dough called lagana, sorry. However, the cooking method doesn't correspond to the current definition or either a fresh or dry pasta product. It's just similar. Italy, the first concrete information on pasta products in Italy dates to the 13th to 14th centuries. It has taken a variety of shapes, often based on regional specializations. Germany, in the area that would become Germany, documents dating from 1725, the mention of Spetzel medieval illustrations are believed to place this noodle at even earlier than this date. Ancient Israel and the diaspora. The Latinized word itrium refers to a kind of boiled dough. Adams adapted noodles for long journeys in the 5th century. The first written record of dry pasta, Muhammad al-Idrisi, wrote in 1154 that Itria was manufactured and exported from Norman Sicily. Itria was also known by the Persian Jews during early Persian rule, where they spoke Aramaic. Why did they add that? And then during Islamic rule. It referred to a small soup noodle of Greek origin prepared by twisting bits of kneaded dough into shape, resembling Italian orzo. And then Polish Jews have zazerki is a type of noodle found in Polish Jewish cuisine. It is part of the rations distributed to Jewish victims in the Lodz ghetto by the Nazis out of the major ghettos. Lodz was the most affected by hunger. Okay, sad. The diary of a young Jewish girl from Lodz recounts a fight she had with her father over a spoonful of zazerki taken. Okay. So, wow. Noodles has a lot of history. And then, Wikipedia breaks them there's a grouping by primary ingredient.
Yeah.
Which doesn't even factor Italy's love for shapes.
Yes.
So, they divided to wheat, buckwheat, egg, rice,
And
and
others.
others. So, are we gonna go through these list of noodles?
Well, we can go quickly through some of them just so that just to see if we're familiar.
Because there's also divided by geography, which is another
Mm-hmm.
Wikipedia article on the list of noodles. And then there are 33. There's an article of 33 types of Italian pasta and what they're
Mm-hmm.
for. I think I want to do this first. Okay,
Okay.
okay, okay. So, Italian pasta. Hurrah. 33 things. I think I can flash this.
So I used to think that pasta would always be um, something you have to create from scratch.
What do you mean?
Um, I used to think, and I know I was wrong, but I used to think like you can't get pasta in the supermarket. You have to knead it and create it.
Oh,
Whereas
okay.
noodles you can buy. But of
Oh.
course, this is probably my 1980s, early 90s mind talking. So when I started to discover that, oh, there's instant lasagna and stuff like that, I was like, fascinating. These things exist.
Okay, so the list starts with long pasta.
Mhm.
These are long, thin ribbons and strand pasta shapes. So this includes angel hair, which is the super thin spaghetti one. So angel hair frustrates me
Mhm.
because it's always like I feel like it's so hard to pick up as your food diminishes because
Mhm.
it because the thinness is like it slips through the tines of a fork very easily.
And angel hair, our closest, I guess, is the sotanghon noodles.
Sort of, but it because you can pack more angel hair into a plate,
Mhm.
then it becomes super dense, and then
Yeah.
it's like, it's so heavy. Okay. Oh, bucatini. What is this?
It looks like it has a hole in the
It
middle.
looks a
It
lot
does.
like traditional spaghetti,
It
but
does
there's a
have a hole.
hole.
It does have a hole in the
Oh,
middle.
it's the noodle with the hole.
Oh, this would be awesome if you fill it with cheese.
Okay, fettuccine, of course, is the flat noodle. You mentioned you don't like fettuccine.
Yeah,
Why not?
because it's very obvious noodle.
What?
And when you eat it, you like super know the noodles are there. It's like fighting with the sauce.
And then you think other noodles are like in disguise?
Yeah, because you just feel the sauce, and the noodles are like just carrying it.
I feel like we have to discuss this further. But okay, we're going through this list quickly. Then there's traditional spaghetti. Okay.
Mhm.
So it's not quite as thin as angel hair, but thinner than bucatini. Then no
Mhm.
hole in the middle. Linguine. Oh, this is like always tricky. But it's like fettuccine but thinner. Do you think you've ever encountered linguine?
No. Or maybe I had a dish that was linguine, and I just thought it was spaghetti.
Okay, yeah, but it still comes out flat. Okay. Oh wow. Papardelle. It's the wider noodle. I don't think I've encountered this in a dish. It looks almost Chinese.
Mhm.
Tagliatelle is easy to mistake for fettuccine. They both look like flattened spaghetti, but then tagliatelle is a little thicker. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, vermicelli. Noodles are skinny. There's Italian and Asian vermicelli. One is made with semolina, and then the later a rice noodle. Yeah, we
And
know it as the rice
and
noodle.
that's the sotanghon noodle. No,
Bihon.
bihon.
You can toss vermicelli with some olive oil. Okay. Then there are short pastas. Campanelle is one of the lesser heard shapes. It's rolled in a cone with a ruffled edge. Ooh, intriguing.
Hmm.
Casareche is a tube. Cavatappi. Oh, it's a double elbow. Oh, look at that. It's like a
Yeah,
spiral.
twists.
Yeah. Okay. Fusilli. Okay, we always encounter fusilli. Fusilli just is like it's fun, but then it's also hard to like pick up sometimes.
Parang we always know fusilli in a multicolored state in this country.
Oh, because it's always that mixed bag
The
with like the
reddish,
Spanish
greenish
one
one,
and then
yeah.
the bell pepper
We rarely
one.
have like just plain that.
Okay, radiatori. It's a futuristic spiral. Well, there are a lot of spiral variations. Oh, and then look at rotini. It's a corkscrew
Mhm.
shape. It catches all types of sauce as well. But how do you differentiate? Because look at fusilli versus this. Well, I guess it's a tighter spiral and it's
Yeah.
thinner. Okay.
And I think it curves a bit slightly.
And then elbows. So there's and then farfalle. Well, I always wonder about this, the ribbon one,
Yeah,
which just feels funny.
which feels like half a dim sum.
Ha! Mitch is asking, can we turn the butticini into a straw? That is a good question. I don't think it'll survive.
Mm.
Okay. Gimen, ooh, look at this one. Gimellini is another spirally one. Penne! Okay. Family favorite, hollow cylinder noodle, slanted edge. Oh, the slant is important.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Oh wow, rotelli. I feel this looks like something you get in like one of those Chef Boyardee with fun shapes.
Mhm.
I thought it was like a space station. I guess it's really a noodle. Rigatoni seems like a shortened penne.
Mhm.
Orecchie. Oh wow, look at
Wow,
this.
that looks like breakfast cereal.
It does. Little dips in its center look small but work magic for catching sauce. So a lot of these different shapes are all like trying to help you
Mhm.
absorb sauces one way or another.
Stuff that your water noodles will never do
Yeah.
well.
There's ziti, of course, which is similar to penne but flat edges.
Mhm.
Oh, look at this one, conchigli. It looks like a caterpillar.
Or a
It's another word for shells.
sweater.
Okay. Oh,
Ah,
there's
yeah, it
the
does look like a shell.
yeah, there's the orzo. Wow, this one looks like rice. It looks
Mistaken
like
for a
grain, but
grain,
it's
but
a
it's a type
pasta.
of pasta. Okay, this looks
Wow,
interesting.
that's interesting. Ditalini. Oh, okay, that's the small. Wait, isn't this what we like use for like chicken macaroni
Yeah,
salad
I
or
was about to
something?
say.
It's that one. Okay,
And minestrone.
yeah. Oh yeah, and then there's the sheet pasta. So you have lasagna, of course. Oh, and that's it. And then there's filled pasta. So tortellinis. So they put stuff inside, which almost
Mm.
looks like a dim sum thing.
Mm-mm.
Ravioli. I've encountered this, but I always feel like it's a little disappointing because just if there's not enough stuff inside, then it's like so much noodle, and it's a double layer
Mm-mm.
situation. So
Mm-mm.
manicotti. So yes, I've seen this. Like so, they look like jumbo penne, and you see them stuffed with cheese and whatnot. Cannelloni. So there's jumbo shells. Mezzaluni is like a pot sticker, and then dumpling type pasta. So there's nochi,
Mm-hmm.
which we only see in cooking shows,
Mm-hmm.
and then specialty types, which is just flavor, color, whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. So that's that first round. And Tristan's here. Thank you. Hard to cook fearfully. Hmm. Okay. Then, um, so I guess we can go over the list by ingredient now. Okay. Or do we go by country? Is country easier? What do you think?
Yeah, well, I suggested ingredient earlier.
I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So the ingredient list. Oh my god. All right. So let's look at wheat noodles. So the wheat starts with
Bakmi,
bakmi.
an Indonesian Chinese yellow wheat noodle with egg and meat, usually pork. The Chinese word bak, which means meat, more
Mm.
specifically pork, is the vernacular pronunciation in Hokkien, but not in
Teochew,
okay,
which is pronounced ne.
suggesting an original Hokkien root. Um,
Okay, the next is chukamen, which is Japanese for Chinese noodles used for ramen,
mhm.
champan, and yakisoba. Oh, okay.
You have chesme, flat yellowish red brown Central Asian wheat
So
noodles.
we've encountered that one. Kaiguksu is knife cut Korean noodles, and lamyan is hand pulled Chinese. Oh, there's a name for it.
Mhm.
I like the
Yeah,
hand pulled
it's so
ones.
fascinating to watch, and you can't help but feel like there's magic going on. How they break it into these noodles, and they're not like entangling into
And
each
then they're
other.
always like whatever
Mhm.
spirally.
And
Yeah.
it's like they stretch it and they stretch it, so it keeps getting halved and longer. But it's just amazing when you watch
Oh,
it.
no worry, Tristan. We weren't quite sure like if we just didn't understand your sentence. Hey, new phone problem is a fun problem.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, but yeah, hand pulled. Awesome. Okay. Then oops. Um
So a lot of these we don't know.
yeah, so
Uh, a
in the
lo-
wheat variety,
there's
mee pok is yellow Chinese noodles. Pasta is also made from wheat.
mhm,
Those is the Central East Asian reshte.
mhm,
So it's very pale, almost white. Okay. Somen is a thin variety of Japanese wheat noodles. Uh, Tukpa is a Tibetan flat noodle.
Mhm.
Udon is Japanese wheat noodle also, and then kishimen is a flat variety of Japanese wheat noodle. I used to
Hey, Aina.
we used to go to like Asian convenience stores and then like just randomly you'll see all these different noodles. You can't read the labels.
Mm-mm.
You just get some and then like let's see what happens. So I'm sure that we may I personally probably have encountered some of the
Mhm.
Japanese wheat varieties without knowing what they are.
And then there were those times we went to restaurants and we
Mm.
intentionally tried the different stuff. You tried the cold noodles one time.
I enjoyed cold noodles. It was a different experience. But in this was pre keto me.
Mm-mm.
So now I in my head when I go over like the flavor, then it's still like a whole lot of noodle
Mm-mm.
carbiness, and then you dip it into the sort of soy whatever sauce, the
Mm-mm.
dipping sauce, and it was okay. It it
You mentioned it was very refreshing.
it did feel that way because the coolness of the noodle
Mm-hmm.
felt nice. It's sort of like you drank a Japanese tea, an iced tea. You know
Mm-hmm.
how they don't serve service water and they just serve more tea, but it's iced.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we used to have Sakai sushi here in the Philippines, then
Yeah.
you could get the service tea, and it was okay. It was like yeah, but like it did feel like
Hey, Jay.
a needlessly deconstructed process.
Mm.
Like, you know,
And
why can't I just have my noodles with the sauce together? Instead, I'm served the noodles on the side. I have the dipping thing, and then it's like it's
because it's
more
an
work. It is,
experience.
and I embraced it. But yeah, but it has that. Okay, I'm like assembling my own thing. I have to put the flavors together for it to happen. So yeah, that was my feeling on that. Okay. Um, so then the wonderful world of rice noodles. So there's banfo, which is the Japanese name of the Chinese rice noodles. Ho fun. Okay,
Mm.
and do you think? I don't know if you've encountered an ho fun dish
Yeah.
normally, but it's like beef ho fun. It's like that braised beef thing with the
Mm.
flat noodles.
And those noodles are thinner. They're not like fettuccine thick. So they
Yeah,
don't.
and I think it's also because it's the rice because of the rice
Yeah.
base. It makes it something lighter.
Yeah. So it doesn't feel so much carb in one subo.
Oh, there, Tristan updated his comment. So I was going to say it's hard to cook farfalle because you have a dense middle and thin wings. You either get properly cooked wings and an undercooked middle, or properly cooked middle and overcooked wings. Oh yeah, that does
Those are the ribbons,
yeah,
right?
the shapes make it very tricky.
Mm-mm.
I can appreciate that. Yeah, yeah, that's hard. Okay. Um, next is flat or thick rice noodles, also known as hefen or hofan.
Mm-mm.
Oh, kwai chow in Shenyang. Okay, so hence char kwai chow. Okay,
Yes.
and then so we've super encountered that in Singapore. Rice vermicelli, thin rice noodles, also known as mi
Bihon.
thin, which is bihon or senmi. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. And okay, side note. So we go in Singapore, you'll the Singapore at the hawker center, or I guess in local terms you could say the equivalent of the breakfast turo turo. So
Mm-mm.
instead of you getting your achuete spaghetti and your sopas and
Mm-mm.
your whatever, you would have this whole arrangement where you'd have you could have different stuff, probably char kway chow and maybe fried rice or rice on
Mm-hmm.
top. And then you just remember we would do that with Mina. We would go down
You choose your
with
egg,
your coin
choose your
bin. You
meats.
you you just pick like
So you can
okay,
like spam and hot dogs
and a fried chicken
yeah.
wing, and then we put it all on char kway chow, and then they'll wrap it up in paper,
Mm.
and then that was our breakfast. So
And those were nice and filling.
it was such a fascinating thing. It was like assemble your own. It's not even assemble your own pasta because they're not even meant to be mixed together.
Mm.
But the char kway chow, the noodles would just be as a base
Mm-mm.
or sort of your rice on the side, and then they just stack everything together and fold it. So that's always a fun
And you always
experience.
knew that the hawker was the best one to buy from because they were the ones with the
See
lines.
that, and that's the general rule of
Mm.
hawker stalls in Singapore. It's like go where the queue is.
Yeah.
Be patient and queue, and it'll be worth it. Okay, all right. So there is sevai, a variant of rice vermicelli in India. There's idiyappam, an Indian rice noodle. Mixian and Miga noodles of southwest China, and Kanom Chin is a fermented rice noodle used in Thai cuisine. I'm kind of surprised that despite the predominant the predominant role that rice plays in our cuisine,
Mhm.
how come we didn't come up with a lot of noodles? I mean, like, yes, we have bihon, but obviously it was a Chinese import, right?
Mhm.
Because of Chinese traders and whatnot. So I'm surprised we didn't like come up with our own more, or did the Spanish presence just stifle that sort of innovation?
Maybe. But then again, we were also very much a rice country.
Like, we like rice as rice.
So we didn't have to like process it further into wheat and then later noodles.
Mm.
We just have the rice.
Okay. So there's a bunch of buckwheat stuff, and I always like, what is the difference? What is a buckwheat versus a wheat? Okay. So makguksu is a local specialty of Gangwon province in Korea. Okay. Memil nangmyeon is a Korean noodle made of buckwheat, slightly more chewy than soba. Oh, so soba is made from buckwheat. Mm. And then Pizzuccheri is an Italian buckwheat tagliatelle from Valtellina. I'm sorry, I'm murdering pronunciation. Usually served with a melted cheese sauce. So let's do a quick like wheat versus buckwheat. Wheat is a seed of a grass, but botanically it is a fruit. On the other hand, buckwheat is a seed of Asian origin. It is not a grass like wheat and is called a pseudo cereal because of its use in the culinary world, where we use it as a cereal and not like a seed. Oh,
Hmm.
okay. Thank you, ndtv.com.
Yeah, so here they mentioned buckwheat is a material typically used for porridge, noodles, bread, pancakes, spaghetti, and other items.
Yeah, Tristan chimes in. We didn't think of grinding the bigas into noodles. Yeah, I think we just went straight to like bibingka.
Well, you have to consider that we use rice in so many ways.
That's true. We're
So
we're
we
not discounting it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we probably do have noodles as well, but it probably wasn't as. I mean, our rice went everything from full meals to desserts to. It was like our tofu.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Jay says, I believe Chinese trades predates the Spanish regime, so maybe there wasn't a need to innovate since pancit was already introduced. There is that. Although maybe we have to take a look at the Wikipedia article that states there are Filipino noodles.
Mm-mm.
So I just wonder if there are Filipino rice noodles. Okay. Okay. Egg. Egg noodles include yumian or thin noodles, Asian egg noodles common throughout China and Southeast Asia. Haha, kasi mian is noodle. So
Mm-mm.
I guess yo is egg. But no, I don't know. We haven't encountered egg in our lessons. We only know fish and rice. Okay. Lokshen is wide egg noodles in Eastern European Jewish cuisine. Kezmi or ariste is Turkic egg noodles, and Spetzel is egg noodle generally associated with southern German states of Baden, Württemberg, and Bavaria. So funny that what's this? Funny that egg noodles. I was just um early in my keto life, I encountered like weird noodle alternatives, which is essentially fry a scrambled egg very, very thin
Mm-hmm.
and then cut it. And then look, you have something like noodles
And then,
that's
what were the
friendly.
others we saw? Cucumber
Cucumber,
cut
so you
into
can
really thin
or use like a
strips.
melon baller and
Yeah.
then string them out. Zucchini similarly.
Mhm.
Yeah. Tristan says we don't grow wheat. Yeah, that's why. So we're like wondering. So instead of wheat, no, you think that we would make a rice noodle of our own, but we don't seem to be known or popular for a rice noodle cuisine. Unless there is one, let us know. Okay. Um, and then the other,
Because we did have a lot of rice balls.
yeah, we have our own kind of
Diba?
plays on that, and
And
then
then we have the flattened versions from palitaw to
and
ganyan.
then you have the cakey,
We
and then you have
have
sapin sapin.
we have it really thin, so it becomes like lumpia and
Mm.
turon. And so yun nga, I don't think we needed noodles the way we were approaching how we used rice.
Ha! Okay, and the other noodle variety based on ingredients. So you have acorn noodles, also known as the toriguksu, which is Korean, made of acorn meal, wheat flour, wheat germ, and salt. I guess they were very determined to eat the acorn
Mhm.
and to put all this. Olcheng iguksu or tadpole noodles are made of corn soup put through a noodle maker right into cold water. It just looks like tadpoles. Again, Korean.
Mm.
Okay. Cellophane noodles are made from mung bean. They could be made from potato starch, kind of starch, or various starch of the same genre. Oh, I don't think I've encountered cellophane. Okay.
Aren't these the glass noodle?
But aren't glass vermicelli? It's normally rice.
No, but the flat ones.
I'm not sure. Oh, that's a good question.
That's why that's the cellophane noodle.
Maybe. Okay. Okay. Chilk nangmyeon, South Korean noodles made of starch from kudzu root, known as kuzuko in Japanese, chewy and semi-transparent. Ha! And then it's my friend shiratake, Japanese noodles made of konjac, and then finally kelp noodles from seaweed.
Mm.
Okay, so I've noticed a lot of these noodles are Korean.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I mean, like I thought there would be more Japanese and Chinese varieties, but it seems that the Korean market has been a lot more creative.
At the same time, we're depending on the people who have encoded things.
That
on
is also
Wikipedia.
true.
And there are a lot of dishes, especially when you look at the more traditional approaches, that probably have not been documented.
That's fair. That's fair. So there is also an article on Wikipedia for a list of notable noodles or simply list of noodles. So and it's like please keep adding to the list. Some of these are super weird. Some of these are I thought I saw a typo. Okay. Let's look at Filipino. So Filipino,
So we have canton, which is egg noodles, usually round.
okay, so that depends pancit canton.
Yeah, we have bihon,
Which is a rice,
the
noodle.
noodles.
But yeah, but that's the like Chinese bihun.
We have the lomi, which are thick egg noodles.
So they're all made from egg. I didn't realize.
We have miki, which is soft yellow egg noodles and are usually flat.
Wow, we really like egg.
We have miswa, which is wheat vermicelli. We have palabok, which is yellow cornstarch noodle.
Oh, pause. So okay, so that's why miswa has a flavor of its own.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when you make miswa soup, it has a distinct flavor because of the noodles. And because it's wheat, then something dissolves. That's fascinating. And then what's our last one?
Sotanghon, which is glass noodles.
Oh, and there's a specific article for glass noodles.
Cellophane noodles.
You're right. Yeah, so cellophane noodles are fancy, sometimes called glass noodles, are a type of transparent noodle made from starch, such as young mung bean, potato starch, sweet potato starch, tapioca, or canna starch, and water. Okay, so they are glass noodles. Okay. Including dried Chinese vermicelli.
Mhm.
Made from, okay. Oh, interesting.
So as a kid, I liked sotanghon because I felt I was eating plastic. But I liked them more.
I don't know how to react to
But
that.
I liked them more in sotanghon soup with the meatballs and I always think cucumber seeds.
What?
But I think it was
Is it from upo or patola?
yeah, I think it was more that. But I always
Okay.
find myself thinking it looked like the seeds of the cucumber.
I was always frustrated though when we would get chicken sotanghon. Because it's essentially arroz caldo, take out the rice, and then it was sotanghon noodles.
Mhm.
So then it's like all the
Hey, Curbs.
all the frustration of these darn chicken wings that you
Mm.
have to, debone while eating a noodle thing.
Yes.
I mean, like my complaint is strictly a child too lazy to break through chicken. So that was the only thing. So yeah, and then miswa always like okay. Then now it super fascinates me because there was like it always came with like a dumpling thing, like that you would make something on a wonton wrapper. I don't know if I make my miswa right. Or,
Mhm.
I haven't cooked it myself.
I'm surprised, or maybe we just missed it. That wonton wrappers
Are not a noodle.
Yeah, or did we just miss it? Was it in the flat area in the larger list? So even man, forgot what you call it. Those small, they sell it in those small blocks.
So technically, wonton is a type of Chinese dumpling. So they don't count it as a noodle.
Yeah, they
It's
really
already a
separate it.
dumpling. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. So do you have
Neither are crepes because they're like giant wonton,
they don't even look like
and then
noodles.
thicker ones.
Why are they in this
And
discussion?
then thicker ones are pancakes.
We're going far away.
So pizza is a wheat. Sorry.
He's not. He's not at all. He
See,
just
lumpia
does it.
Shanghai wrapper. Lumpia wrapper.
Again,
Even Jay's asking.
it's not a noodle.
Pancake.
No.
For really tiny people.
What? Lumpia is big, huh? Lumpia is big. Don't get me wrong. Lumpia is big. Wait, do you not know?
I know, it's like the size of a plate.
Yeah, and then when you make lumpiang Shanghai,
Mm-mm.
it's a whole thing, and then you cut it.
Yeah,
I'm just making sure. Then why are you saying it's for little people?
to use as blankets.
Okay, so okay, do you have a preferred pasta?
As a kid, I really liked lasagna. There was
Mm.
always something nice about plunging your fork in and seeing how many layers there were.
And it always felt, I guess also because of its rarity, it always felt special. Like if
Mhm.
there was an opportunity to eat lasagna, then yay. Plus, years of Garfield tell you that lasagna must be good
Yes, that's true.
because he loves this
But
stuff.
then at the same time, a lot of the fast food lasagna was just
Sad.
sad.
I mean, like, and then like at the sort of weird minimum limit is Greenwich lasagna, which is still not great, but it's like I don't know the instant pancit canton of lasagna, because like it's just lasagna enough
Hmm.
that on a budget it's okay, but it still wasn't great. Okay. See, same thing. Tristan says he learned about lasagna from Garfield. See, Garfield taught all of us that lasagna is awesome and must be eaten like this. Okay.
So we
Um,
should do that once in our life.
what? Lasagna.
You know, you'll have a cheat day. We'll have lasagna, but we have to eat it that way.
Isn't it? Isn't it? And he'll really his mouth will be like open this wide and okay. Okay.
But you do realize in that scene, I'll be OD, just staring at you eat it.
You're just owning up being a dog, huh?
Mm.
No, you're gonna lick off the lasagna from my face to be in the full OD mode. Okay. Um, should be the best lasagna para sulit yung cheese day. The
Mm.
cheat day. That's true. And I don't know where I would go for the best lasagna.
I
Like
get that.
like I don't, because again it's like it's a rarity. Like you don't really try it as much because it's like okay, what's this? Like esbarro. As much as we've eaten esbarro a lot, like the few times I have tried their lasagna, I was like ox lang because it felt kind of flat,
Mhm.
and then like what's this? I feel like it only had like three main layers,
Mm.
so it didn't feel sulit.
So Jace is sharing. Have you heard about
Cassatelli.
Cassatelli or waterfall pasta? Recently invented, claiming to be the best sauce vehicle.
Weird shape but
So
promising
looking at
potential.
it
Looks like a roller coaster hoop.
it looks like potato chips.
Oh, could be chips.
So it's a
Cheese
short
curls.
pasta with a flat strip and ruffles that stick out on a 90-degree angle. The ruffles give the shape texture and create a sauce throw that holds the sauce. There are hybrids highlighting the half tube components. It's durum wheat again.
Interesting. Oh, Tristan like asked House of Lasagna. I don't know. It's like saying adobo. It's like, do you think Adobo Connection is the best adobo?
So looking at this Cassatelli,
I should load that.
it
Okay.
now looks like we should try to have chicharon pasta.
Wait, I'm loading an image. Okay, let me share tab again.
Hey, Black Swana.
Hello, we're talking about pasta. And then of course I don't like the default share version, so look at that. It's like a slide, a roller coaster. It seems quite Is it difficult to make or is it machine made and thus it's
It
easy?
looks like it's machine made.
Yeah.
Right angles, rare in pasta shapes, resist bite force from all directions, maximizing tooth sinkability. And then slight variations in thickness plus ruffles, multiple textures in each bite, which sensory scientists call dynamic contrast.
Wow, so we're trying to science out noodles into what, Black Swan says a bridge. Yeah, that's like a bridge. A bridge, a slide, all these things.
Or no, a flat maggot.
I don't think they're going to compare it to call it a flat maggot. Christina says it looks like postizo.
Mm.
It does kind of look. There's a definite organic feel to it. Okay.
It looks like, if you wanted seafood but couldn't have it. Forkability, how easy it is to get it on your fork and stay there. But of course, they show them stabbing it. So that's like,
No, but I cite that too. Like I think an important consideration for pasta is like how easy you can eat it with. Well, pasta when you think about it in a sauce dish. So that's my frustration
mm,
with things like fusilli is like okay, but then there are like weird moments where you're not happy with what you get, or
mm.
it's hard to balance any of the solid ingredients
Well,
from the
but that's
pasta.
because you're balancing. And here they're stabbing it na. So it's not the
Yeah.
same.
Okay. And then um what are other ones you tried? Uh um and then actually macaroni is a rather frustrating shape.
Mm.
Like when you're eating macaroni
I think it only really works with cheese because the cheese is thick enough to like catch
and
everything.
then like you're eating in a I think if you're eating in a bowl, the noodle shape problems go away because then I can always like scoop it on the side.
Mm.
But when it's on a plate, then it's like annoying stabbing motions as you're trying to get things together. And there's that weird like Western restaurant vibe
Mm.
where I am trying to commit to just using my fork and not being Filipino and digging it with my spoon.
Hey, Tappy has joined us. Oh, Osha, just wanted to make gulo. Good night, guys. Actually, like
Tortellini
tortellini
and
and ravioli.
ravioli. Yeah, yeah. Okay. And then Tristan says, lived in Little Italy in the Bronx where you could buy freshly made ravioli because almost a sacrilege to bring it home, boil it, and dump bottled sauce on it. Hey, as long as you enjoyed it, it's fine.
So why our isn't it called bilo bilo counted here? Those balls of flour that you have in ginatan.
Counted as a noodle?
Well, you have orzo
The
and the
one that
like,
looks
which
like
are
pasta.
not long things.
I think it's also because of the ingredient. I don't know. I think the Italians have just gone nuts, and then they have decided not to change the main ingredient and just play with the shapes
Mm.
forever in this never-ending quest to like find a way to optimally deliver sauces.
And then
Oh,
there is that intriguing question of why do they seem to be obsessed with trying to emulate shells?
that's interesting. And I think it's because of because they think it's a nice receptacle for sauce. Then it's something you can
That's true.
take.
Good night, Tappy.
And knife cut noodles is her last contribution,
Mhm.
as opposed to like hand pulled, or is it hand? It's hand pulled and then knife cut.
Yeah.
Because how else do you deal with the hand pulled noodles? I know I shared this before, but then like my weird sad realization is that a lot of noodle dishes, um, was just it's really just a lot of filler. And I say this with love, but then
Mhm.
like when you go keto and then you eat it again, then it's like oh my god, I'm just filling myself up with carbs and I don't get
Because
as much out of
ultimately,
it.
they are meant to be vehicles.
Yeah,
They're meant to carry the flavor and capture the sauce and bring it to your mouth.
yeah. It was just a sad realization because it took out the fun for things like ramen and like
Mm.
even things like I don't know. I'm scared to eat pho again and ignore the noodles and or even have the noodles and then like just be all blah, blah, blah. Wow, so many pasta shapes. It's quite fascinating.
Yeah.
So the But I think there's always like a part of me that wanted to try the different like stuffed things, like the different pillow ones, the
Mhm.
ravioli. Or I've never tried nochi.
Yeah.
But then I'm always worried, like looking at it, will it just be like a shopa with too much bread?
Hmm.
Because the amount of like
Flour.
flour
Yeah.
curvature is tricky. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Ha. Okay. What else? So okay, then I think the other question is like, then wonder why the uh loosely will say the western side of the world,
Mhm.
primarily Italy,
Mhm.
decided that noodles are best with sauces and then kind of committed to that.
Mhm.
Whereas on the Asian side, we have a lot of soups.
Yeah.
We have a lot of soupy things for noodles.
But that could also be connected to soups tend to be cooling. You hydrate yourself with it while you eat, and when you're living in the Asian side of the world, those are the kind of things that help.
Mm.
And then they have the hot soups naman, which are all about spreading heat immediately into your body as you eat.
Yeah, and I'm an instant sweater. Like
Mm.
if I eat something super hot, especially soup, then it starts just coming off, and then like I turn on the fan in it and making sure it's pointed to me whenever I'm eating a soup. And considering I cook soup like 2 to 3 times a week, it is a regular occurrence.
Mm.
So I don't know.
And then there is that matter of, I don't know if Asian noodles ever had to try to quote unquote be al dente.
Mm. Because we keep putting them in
And
soups.
we just cook them. The
Yeah.
noodles are meant to be fully cooked. Whereas for European dishes, I guess, and I use that word loosely, parang you have to only cook them a certain extent because it should not cook too much or it gets too tough or something like
Mm-mm.
that.
The closest you'll get is like when we go to Ramen Nagi before,
Mm-hmm.
and then there you could choose the consistency of your noodle if it's
Mm-mm.
super hard or not, which I feel like is only driven by how long they cook it,
Mm-mm.
right? Because over time, as it soaks in the soup, it will get softer, and regardless of what firmness you selected, it will not matter if you're still sitting there 30 minutes later
Mm-mm.
with a bowl full of noodles and probably just noodles because they drank all the soup.
Mm-mm.
Do you have a favorite soup noodle dish?
I think pho has been the closest to
Oh,
a long-term favorite dish.
oh.
I know lasagna was something I used to always eagerly expect sa house. Um, Yaya baby and mom would work on really good lasagna, and um, they'd have those creamy cheeses, not just the normal cheese.
And you gotta use uh, like a cottage cheese also or something. Or but there's there's like different types. Okay,
Mm-mm.
yeah.
And then more so if it's just cooked right to the point that parang the cheese is medyo sunog sa lower parts. So there's that nice bite and crunch.
Mm.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
I'm glad that I enjoyed our fall dates.
Mm-hmm.
Like we would bring Toby out to Foa, and it was still like Foa is like not the best pho I've ever had, but it's
Mm-hmm.
good. It's consistently good across the branches. And considering the varieties that are out there now, I'd still go for Foa more than anything
Mm-hmm.
else. I can't now that I'm keto, but that was like that used to be our regular thing that we would go for pho, and then um
We used to have our ramen stuff.
we used to do ramen, but then
Mm-hmm.
like between pho and ramen, yeah, I would go pho. I love pho, and I don't know, maybe it's the comfort of like a beefy soup, but
Mm-hmm.
there's something about the pho broth that is flavorful,
And then
meaty but light.
you have the the mint and stuff.
Yeah, the Thai basil, and then
Basil.
the
Yeah.
uh toge. I don't know what to say. The toge, the lemon. There was that whole ritual of all these things on the side that you have to put
Plucking
in.
the leaves.
Yeah.
and then you put the sauce, and then you mix it. Yeah,
And then
that
so I
was
was
nice.
disappointed in some restaurants, some Vietnamese restaurants. Na parang they'll give you very little things to add. I'm like,
Mm-mm.
oh, what's this? Where's the rest of my stuff?
Mm-mm.
Or they'll just focus on spicy things, so you get so many chopped peppers, and like I don't need this many peppers
Yeah.
because I'm old. I can't have spicy things all the time. uh, I am I am kind of glad that I found like more fun keto friendly noodles
Mm-hmm.
now. Like shiratake is okay, but then parang for the I guess one is that I've not exactly been the biggest fan of bihon.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's okay, I don't mind it, but it's not something I look for. And then to think, I was thinking for a while like, oh my god, are all my pastas moving forward going to be the shiratake consistency, which does taste kind of bihony.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure I was ready for that. And then recently we found a bunch of almond flour pastas. Thank
Bit
you, Ruby
a bit
Pantry.
more pricey, but worth it.
Worth it. Feel it. I mean, it still has that ridiculous like filling, but it doesn't feel as filling as regular pasta.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, I have it in very measured quantities because I have to still work within my keto limit. So then
Yeah.
I get about 150 grams per serving, um, which is still a lot. Okay, mind you, but it does the job. And then I feel good about I can cook proper pasta again for
Mm-hmm.
Toby because that always like that used to be my staple in the sense that if I don't know what to do, I'll make a pasta. And now I can do that again. It's just the process is more complex in the sense that I have one sauce, but I have two different types of noodles.
Mm-hmm.
Then I cook Toby's noodle first, and then I put it aside, and then I have to change the water entirely because
Mm-hmm.
I can't cook my keto noodles in the same water. And then I'll cook mine, and they're super delicate. My only problem with these almond flour noodles is that they are very quick. It's very easy to overboil them. So the instruction says 6 to 8 minutes. I only do it for 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then at like 5 minutes, I take it out because it's. And then you look at my ladle; it already has bits of noodles stuck to it because
Mm-hmm.
it's starting to disintegrate. So there's that. But then I can make fun stuff. So I'm happy it's in my life. So thank you, Ruby Pantry and other things. Um, I guess last is like so of all the different noodles we've tried and we've listed. Are there any that sound like you particularly want to try?
Well, Nochi is still always curious.
Okay.
And then I think one which is not I want to try, but we also miss for the fun of it was that remember that dried noodle thing, and then you put the soup on it, and then you start
Oh,
attacking it as it
yeah.
starts getting softer.
Yes, the Chinese fried
Yeah,
noodle thing.
that was a I was about to say yellow. Remember?
North Park.
That is a North Park dish that we used to get also on some occasions. But that was a fun one.
Jay asking, have you heard of or tried the trend of turning pasta into chips by frying them? No.
Well,
But I do know people who eat instant noodles.
yeah, I think that's where it all started.
And technically all like is it all ready to cook Italian pasta is technically an instant noodle
Mm.
too. Like it's just dehydrated, whatever.
Mm.
So Bro, although I don't know if it's gonna be tasty. Um and then I forgot what I was gonna say next. Awesome. Mid statement. Okay. Because of the chips that are noodles. Things you want. So yeah, so I think it would be nice to do the North Park noodle experience
Mhm.
again. That was fun. But my challenge always with like the crispy noodles is always like it's a race. It's a race to eat it.
Because if you
It's
don't eat it soon enough,
then it's just like
soggy sad.
pancit canton,
Mhm.
where it's like how I eat cereal. Like I'm the type of person who's like I want to eat the cereal such that it's still firm,
Mm-mm.
even though I've soaked it in milk, and then it's like I eat quickly. I know there are other people who like to let them soak
Mhm.
and then wait for the milk to change color.
Mm.
Okay, okay. Um, I realized though, sorry, my last thing is that like in the list of Filipino noodles, I don't think I have tried Mickey. Soft yellow egg noodles. I don't know. I don't think I have. Lomi, I think I've inevitably tried it in a lomi dish. Um, but Mickey, I'm not sure if I've had it.
So what I'm seeing appearing for Mickey noodles in the Philippines is yakisoba,
Oh,
pancit
but there's a
Mickey.
pancit. Oh, maybe I've had it mixed with in a because sometimes you get that pancit canton that seems to have three different types of noodles in it. So I guess I've had Mickey then.
Mm-mm.
Okay, okay. Just not aware. Just not aware that I've had it. But looking at the picture now, and like, okay, pancit Mickey.
Yeah,
It looks like we've had that. Okay, okay. I've had all these Filipino noodles, so to speak.
pancit Mickey gisado.
Mm, okay. Oh, you know what always confused me before when like because normally 'cause if you shorthand and just say I'd like pancit, but then there are so many varieties,
Mm-mm.
and then some of them are mixed, and they were like the fancy ones that like would come in a big bilao with squid pa and everything,
Mm-mm.
and then it's always like, so what pancit is this? And so
Jay even shares there's Batangas lomi with fried egg and a bun on the side. That sounds yummy.
do you have a favorite pancit?
I normally don't like pancit.
Oh,
I mean, I don't mind eating it, but if I had a choice to eat something else, I'd rather eat it.
oh, and then what is the noodle in pancit malabon? Right? Isn't it like, oh, great, I picked a restaurant, not a recipe. Special pancit malabon. Uh, where's the ingredient list?
There. Rice noodle.
Cornstarch or rice noodle sticks.
Mhm.
That is not helpful.
It's just the spaghetti noodle.
No, but it's thicker. And then Jay says he always gets confused with pancit malabon and palabok. That's a valid. I feel that way. I feel
Mm.
that way. Jay also says liberty palabok and pancit malabon. Oh, let's try that. Okay, so pancit malabon versus palabok. Oh, it's an autocomplete. Okay. So pancit palabok uses bihon, has shrimp broth in the sauce, and is served with the sauce on top. On the other hand, pancit malabon features thicker rice noodles, and its sauce contains crab fat. Oh, and it's mixed with the noodles before it is brought to the table. Wow. Okay, so that explains that. Jace asks if we've tried pancit puti. I don't think I have, but let us check.
Oh, I think I've had this. It's a really white noodles with a topping.
Oh,
Yeah, I've had this.
or I feel like I've had a more Singaporean version of it because I
Mm-mm.
feel like there are a lot of bihon dishes that look like this.
Mm-mm.
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting.
With lots of garlic.
Hmm. We're always game for garlic. Our minimum garlic in any dish is a head, not a clove, not half a head, a head. And then recently we got pressure like, oh, we have so much garlic now. And like, okay, I better up my garlic to two heads in the pasta that I make.
Hmm.
So, rawr, enough garlic to fight back. All right. So yeah, I guess that's all we can talk about this noodle
Hmm.
versus pasta thing. And so we resolved the difference between pasta and noodles, which is largely just the ingredients. And as a bonus, we've resolved the difference between pancit malabon and palabok. So productive today.
And sadly, crepes will never be part of this or bilo bilo.
And there's Toby's weird expanded food universe where he's trying to relate many things that
Because
are not
they're
relatable.
made also with wheat and stuff. Or
Then
rice balls.
then are you saying sapin are in this for this
Why
family?
isn't it?
Because we're talking about things that are shaped into noodles.
It is like soups again. Soups and sauces.
No, no.
It's the same thing with juices and teas.
When Toby gets the technical, just the bare bones technical definition of things, then it's open to
Because
abuse.
a lot of them are just terms that they've decided to use and accept, or culturally was what it used to be when no one else in the world was doing it, or something like that.
Then let's just accept the usage of these terminologies as they are on face value and not try to force expansion into unusual Toby territory. Trademark that, Toby territory.
Why don't we just call it flour food and buckwheat food?
Because you defy the Germans who came up with the word noodle. I know. Okay. So that's our show. All
That's
right.
our show.
If you have questions or suggestions for future episodes, you can fill up the Google form at bit.ly Baduy Pride Ideas. Thanks again to Kenny for
Mhm.
asking us to do this. And we were able to slot it for today's Tasty Tuesday episode.
Mhm.
We always talk about food on Tuesdays, so don't come hungry. And then you can follow us on Twitter, Altobi No Shade, RG Sunico.
You can also check out our blog, baduypray.com, for the previous episodes and stuff about us.
So feel free to continue the conversation in the comments below and let us know, what do you think about all this pasta and noodle business? What are your favorite dishes? Or if you can't think of dishes, what are just your favorite types of noodles and why? Please write an essay in the comments. Right. And then be sure to subscribe for notifications, whether on Facebook or YouTube, so you don't miss our next live stream. Once again, I'm Rocky.
And I'm Toby.
And this is Baduy
Baduy
Pride. Good night, everyone. See you on